Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about kind of the black sheep of the Metroid games, Metroid Other M for the Nintendo Wii. Now there's been a bunch of these games over the years, and this one is kind of a black sheep because it was not actually made by Nintendo. Nintendo actually hired Team Ninja to make this game. You know, Team Ninja's not used to making Metroid games, they're used to making this kind of game. And that's what I think gives this game kind of a different feel than all the other Metroid games, and probably why it's had like a bad reputation for a long time, I think. Because it is just a very different feeling game than, say, Super Metroid or, the Metroid Prime games, stuff like that. And is it still worth playing today, though? Was it really as bad as people remember it? Now, recently, my buddies and I, Alex and Steve, we kind of decided to all play this game at the same time to answer that question. Is it still good? Is it, not good? Is it even worth playing? So recently I finished it, and I think it isn't for everyone, but I actually had a really good time with it. It does feel very different in any other Metroid game because it's got like a very strange play style. It's like a 3D game, but it's kind of pretending to be like a 2D game, if that makes any sense. Like you're running around the levels, and you've kind of got this view that's, removed from Samus, and you can have her run to the left, right, kind of forward or backward within these levels. But at the same time, anytime you want, you can turn, usually you're playing just like this, right? You're moving Samus around with a D-pad, and then you're jumping and shooting with these two buttons. But at any time, if you just point the Wiimote at the screen, it shifts over to first-person mode, and you can, move the camera around to look all around your environment, and you realize that you're actually in a 3D environment at that point. And, you can shoot at monsters or zoom in on, locked doors and stuff to see what you need to open to them, get little information like that. So it's very different than other Metroid games, and very interesting, I thought. But that does cause problems with the gameplay, as you might imagine, because there are times where you're forced to use the first-person view. And let me tell you, if you're in a difficult boss battle and you're having to go between playing like this and then moving to the screen, doing like this, it can get very frustrating, if you're not really used to that kind of thing. And it did take me a bit of time to get used to it, but I felt like after a while, maybe a few hours or so, I finally kind of got used to the controls. But that being said, I don't think the controls are good, and they actually might be why most people have a problem with this game, I think, because they could have been remapped to, say, a GameCube controller. Thanks, Dean, for giving this to me, by the way. He saw I didn't have an original GameCube controller, so he gave me a nice orange one here. Thanks, bud. And it also could have been mapped to be used with the Wii Pro controller, too, I think, very easily, Instead of having to flip the controller around, they could have just had you press down a trigger or something to go into first-person mode. And I think that would have made the game a whole lot better. So other than the controls, the game actually is pretty good, I thought. It's got a much different story than the other Metroid games. Instead of just being by yourself, you're kind of on a spaceship, just a huge spaceship, and you're exploring it at the same time, kind of like a military unit is that Samus apparently used to be a part of. So it's kind of got a wild story, and there's a lot of cutscenes in this game. It's much more cinematic experience than any other Metroid game I've seen, which is okay. It's kind of cool, I guess.
Why am I still alive? The baby. Time to go.
So instead of like collecting items in other Metroid games, like, you know, you kill a monster, you'll get like some extra missiles from it, right, or some extra health. In this game, you don't collect anything from dead monsters. You upgrade your health. Okay, you're playing. Okay, I'm about to die. You have to like turn the controller up like this and hold A, and hopefully you're not getting attacked by other monsters while you're healing. You hold A to heal when you're almost dead, and you can't even do it at anytime you want. You have to do it like when you're almost dead, or else it won't let you heal. So that can make the boss battles very frustrating, because you'll be trying to heal, and you're getting attacked, and it knocks you out of your heal. It could have been done a little better. That being said, I think it is kind of cool to have something that is a little different story, a little different gameplay, but the same Samus. And I think another thing that people have always said this game is bad for is the just the relationship that Samus has with the other commando unit, because you're going through the game kind of not exactly with them at the same time, but they're off doing their own thing and you're off doing your own thing, but you can't get your items leveled up to like a power bomb or a super missile, anything like that, until you like progress a certain point in the game and the like military commando unit gives it to you, basically. It's just kind of different like that. And for a long time, this game was very inexpensive. I actually bought this game sealed some years ago for just like $8 off eBay. So it was considered a really kind of a bad game for a while, I think. But I think now more people are kind of starting to realize that it is a decent game. And I actually recommend playing it if you do appreciate things that are different. It does have some of the best graphics I've seen on the Wii, to be honest. The graphics look super clean. And I didn't run into any bugs. It's a very polished game. And it does feel like a Metroid game still, I think. It doesn't feel like, some bizarre studio made this and it's just completely different from every other game and feel or anything like that. I think it actually holds up. And this would actually be a game that I think could be remastered on today's platforms and do like very well, because they could clean up the controls to make it just a more playable game, and I think that would just completely change people's opinions of it. I think it would actually be pretty well received. So anyway, that being said, in 2026, if you can get your hands on a copy, I'd recommend trying it out. I think this game is going up in price a little bit these days. I think it's like $20-25 now. But that's still well worth it, I think. And especially in terms of Metroid games. I think it's probably some of the cheaper Metroid games still. And that's it, guys. Have you played this game? What do you think of this game? Do you have like good memories from playing it back in the day, or did you play it back in the day and you thought it was horrible? Let me know in the comments below, and I guess I'll see you next time. Take care.